Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative, and today we are going to do an unboxing. So I swing this around. We'll just leave it like that because I don't want it to go upside down and left and right and all over the place. Anyway, I have recently purchased this Let's Resin UV Light Advanced. I have a couple of UV lights here, but I wanted to try something a little different. And so I thought I would show you the unboxing and then we will work on doing a piece using it. Previously, I've been using UV lamps like this. And this one has 60 seconds and 120 seconds. And that's what it looks like underneath. Let me get this over here because you can't see that, can you? Okay. So this is what it looks like underneath. I have to laugh. I still haven't figured out which way I'm supposed to go with things. Anyway, this is what it looks like, and that's what you have to work with. What I liked about the Let's Resin light is the fact that it comes apart, it goes together, and it has a shelf. So let's unbox this and see what it looks like inside. And this was not sent to me. I bought this myself. Okay. And it was interesting because when I got the box, I had thought to myself, it was very flat, so I wondered how they'd put it together. Okay. And I kind of like that the box is blue to match the inside of this. Okay. So this is how it comes. So you'll see we have two pieces. I'll take this out. This is the shelf unit that goes into it. And then it comes in two pieces. I figured they'd have it put together, so it's interesting that it's separate like this, but that's cool. I'm okay with that. And interestingly enough, it has, so let's get this out of the box. And so we stop making noise, etc., etc. And it's attached. Okay. It's attached. Let's get this cord out of here. And that should be all of it. So now we can get rid of the box. Out of way. Out of way. Okay, so here we go. We've got the two parts. We've got our plug-in. And I have to admit, I mean, as much as I know everything comes with being plugged into computers, I really like to have something that gets plugged into an outlet versus getting plugged into my computer. I find that trying to plug things into my computer can be a hassle. Even though I've got the attachments that I can use to put in a plug-in, which is great, I do have to admit, having something like this is cool. I like that I have it direct that's going to go into a wall and be powered that way. We have our product description of what you get. So you get the unit itself, you get the plug-in, you get the plastic sheet, and they have on here, please tear off protective before using. Okay, and that's on both sides. So I like that it's telling me to do that. So we'll make sure we take that off before we do anything. Let's see how easy this is. Okay, I'm going to get my handy dandy little Cricut tool so I can get under that. Okay. Yeah, hon. I don't want to scratch it, which I'm probably doing anyway. Come on. No, that just took that sticker off. Okay, so that's something they maybe could have made a little bit easier for you. Like I say, I don't want to scratch this, but I know that's exactly what I'm doing. Oh, man. Okay. Well, it gives you some idea that this isn't going to peel off easy peasy, which I had hoped it would have. Oh, man. Okay. Starting to get it now. Okay, that could have been made easier. I'm focused on getting this off. That's why I'm not talking to you right now. Okay, probably going out of the camera now just so I can grab this. Wow, that's on there and but good. Okay, finally, here's for the one side. Let's just get this up. So have patience doing this. I wouldn't have thought they'd make that so challenging to get off. But there we have one side. And now let's see if I can't get this other side off a little bit easier. Yeah, I'm going to use my... So what are you people up to today from a creative standpoint? Are you doing anything funny? You're just watching videos to see what kind of ideas you can come up with for your own projects? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to jump back to this. They could have made this a lot easier to take off. I get wanting to protect it. I seriously do. However, I don't know if you've ever done this, but do you find that, like with tape, I don't like trying to find the ends of tape for love nor money. So what I do is I end up folding over the tape once I've finished using it, so it makes it much easier for me when I want to use it the next time. And I think that would have been something that would have been cool if they'd done here, that said lift here to make it easier to take this plastic off. Anyways, there you have it. After about 2 or 3, 5 minutes of playing, it's off. So we'll put that back down. Okay. I recommend that before you do anything, when you get a new product, is that you read through the directions on how to use it. So see how easy this comes off of here? I laugh. I wish they'd done that with this plastic piece. So there you have it. That would have been easier. Now, as I understand it, again, I've just opened this. I have not read through the product description. It has magnets on it, so it should just, oops. So you see how this isn't going together? I've got this the wrong way. And there. So it's got, if you try and put this together the wrong way, it's not going to go. You're going to feel the magnets pushing it apart. So there we go. So now that's together. Okay. I do like that you can flip it around and it's got the timer on both sides. So that's cool. Right. And we plug it in. So there's the one side there has no plug-ins. And then on the other side, it's got the 2 plug-ins. And I'm guessing they did that in case you want to just use the one side. So if you just wanted to do like this, then you can plug that in. And I'm guessing too, you know, probably most of these have the same type of plug-in at this end. So I'm thinking maybe if you had another one, you could use both of them at the same time. So let's put this back together like that. Okay, like that. And then we know that this is going to plug in simply like this. So I'm going to turn this around now. And we're going to undo this because we're just going to do a quick little go through the 2, 3, and 5 minutes. Like just push the button. So there we are. So we got 2, 3, 5, and you won't be able to see it, but it is lighting up underneath the appropriate number. So I don't know if you can see, it's under the 5 right now. Okay. And then I'm going to take it that if we end, it's off. Okay. At the back here, you'll notice when it's plugged in, there's this little red light. Can you see that? Hopefully you can. Just above the white here, there's a red dot to let you know it's plugged in and powered on. Okay. So I like how it looks right now. So like that. And then all we're supposed to be able to do or have to do with this piece is just slide it in. Let me see. I got to move it around. Okay. And there you go. The plastic piece is now inserted so that it will cure on both sides. I think this is brilliant. There's another company out there, Resin Rockers. They have a much bigger unit. I don't have one of those. That's on my wish list of something I'd like to get. And I want to say it's more oblong. It's not rectangle like this one is. But I love the idea of having a shelf. And I'm not sure how far we can go. Yeah. But you have some play with that. So if you had a few pieces on here, you could move it in and you could move it out. What I'm going to do now is I am going to walk away from the videotaping. I'm going to come back once I have something ready that we can try this out and cure with. Be right back. I have decided to make this a completely Let's Resin video. Now, I did read through the directions once I had logged off now that I'm back. So what they show here in the directions, hopefully you can see them, is about taking the top lid off and then putting your items on the plastic piece that you can put your pieces on, and then putting the top back on, which I kind of thought was a good idea. And so what we could do is we'll just show this as we take it off, and I'm going to hold it just down to the bottom of the base and pull it off. And then for ease, once you have your piece put together, and I would not suggest putting your resin, your UV resin, like don't put, I wouldn't, I'm not going to, putting your piece here, because then the potential is that you could get UV resin on this plastic piece, and I wouldn't want to. So my recommendation would be that you put your piece down here, you do put your UV resin into it and what have you, and then you place it on top of here. And depending on what you've got, you're going to want to be careful doing that. So I thought that was cool that they said take this off and then lift it up and put it on like that and then cure it. So we're just going to put that down. As I say, we're going to make this a Let's Resin kind of day. I have the Let's Resin UV colored resin I'm going to use. So I'm going to use a blue, pink, and yellow. And what I thought I would do, so I'm going to put those colors in these pieces here. And then in the center, what I want to do is I'm going to use the Let's Resin clear UV resin, and I'm going to mix in some of the Ashland holographic beads, glass beads that I got from Michael's for the center of it. And I might, who knows, end up throwing a few of those in with the color as well. I'm not sure on that just yet. So let's get going, and we'll just start. I'll put my gloves on just to make sure I don't get anything on my hands. Okay, and we'll just push that off to the side. I'm not working at my normal table, so it's a little crowded over here. And I'm working near a window, so I'm not recommending that either. But as I say, I didn't want to be moving everything around, so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm going to lay these two on their sides just to get the resin going, and so I don't have to deal with as many air bubbles. So can you see what I'm doing here? Let's move that back a little bit. So we'll start here. And you know what else I don't have over here? This is why you work at your normal table and not like I am here, because I don't have my lighter to get rid of the air bubbles. Now they might go out on their own, which is great if they do, but it is smart to have that here. And I'm not going to put a lot in because I don't know how powerful this will be, and they always say to do the UV resin in layers so that it cures properly. And I'll probably maybe use clear up there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do my best just to get the air bubbles out of this. Might have to roll away and then go back, get it and bring it back here so I can get rid of those air bubbles, because they'll drive me nuts. So just bear with me as I roll away and get one of my torches. Torches sounds so medieval. Get a torch. Okay, so let's just get rid of these. Yeah, because I really don't want air bubbles in this. And they may seem like odd colors to be using. This is, and wipe off, wipe off, wipe off, wipe off. I almost did that. Almost went in with to another one. Can you see what I'm doing here? Okay. Like I say, when it's not your normal spot to work. So always wipe off before you go into your next color, unless you want to mix your colors. And I might just end up putting yellow in there. So I'm just kind of leveling those off. Let's put some more yellow. We'll put yellow up here in and around. Why not, eh? My piece, I can do what I want to it. Okay, let's just pull that back in and around. So what are you doing today, and what's the weather like where you are when you're watching this? It is a beautiful day where I am. It's chilly, yes, but the sun is nice and bright today. I'm heading out of town for a little bit, and I love that it's beautiful weather, because when it gets nasty where I live, it gets nasty. So today it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, as Mr. Rogers would say. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Okay. So we're going to, they say to let that sit. I'm not going to make you wait, because we're going to sit and wait for the UV resin to cure anyway. So let's bring this back into a view. We've got our shelf unit put in. I'm just going to center that again. We'll do the clear in a moment. So we're just going to put that up there. And I love that that just clicks into place. That's brilliant. Okay, so let's do this for 3 minutes, and it's going to cure from top and bottom. Now, a little trick I've had with some of my other UV lamps, and I don't have exactly what I want here, but I'm going to show you an example of something that you may want to try out for yourself. Because of the other lamps I've had, and I don't know whether this works or not really to make much difference, but I've covered the back of mine something like this, just to keep the light more concentrated on the piece. Whether that's a good idea or not, I don't know if it matters. I don't know if it makes any difference, but I want to keep the light concentrated on the piece I'm working on, as opposed to the light, you know, sort of going out all over the place. This is just a paper towel that I have here. I'm tempted when I'm doing other work is to get a bigger piece of something that's darker, just so I can drape it over, and I'm keeping all the light in one place as opposed to it being dispersed all over. So I'm just throwing that out as a suggestion. Again, I don't know if it makes any difference in the grand scheme of things, but it's something I've done. So that's kind of cool. So we'll just take it off, but I just thought I would share that with you. Now, one thing I think would be cool at some point is, you're not sure when your 3 minutes is up, and I kind of think it'd be cool if they had something that did a bit of a countdown. And I don't know if there are specific lamps that actually do a countdown for you. So for example, if you only wanted something under there for, let's say, 60 seconds, well, that's 2 minutes. That is the minimum. Yes, you could watch a clock, you know, the second hand, to see when your 60 minutes is up. But I do think it'd be cool if there was a countdown, so you could shut it off if you needed to or wanted to. They're constantly upgrading these things, so who knows, maybe eventually they will do that. So patience as we wait. Always good to have something else going on, so you can. And you know what, as I think about this, good thing these are in black bottles, because I really shouldn't have those that close to a UV lamp. Here are some things not to do. Do not keep your UV resin bottles close to your UV lamp. And I know I shouldn't be working with this in front of a window, but I didn't want to move everything. So best to have working with UV resin away from a window. Best not to put your UV bottles right beside the lamp. However, if you had it covered up, so if I do this, I would be protecting the bottles to some extent, and, you know, good on them putting them in black bottles so that, and if there's any issue with this UV material afterwards, totally my fault for doing what I've done. So, what not to do. always good when you learn from other people what not to do. Okay, our 3 minutes is up. Let's take this apart. There we go. I have a trusty little stick here. Hard, 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 and hard. So the brilliant thing is with this and units that are similar to it is I don't have to flip this over now, which was one of the things I was having to do with my other lamps, is I had to flip this over so I could cure from the bottom. And now I don't have to because that's been done for us. So let's take this down here, move all of this back. Let's bring up these. I have this container here that I'm going to put my clear UV resin into. And I don't know how much, I always over pour this. I don't know about anyone else. I try to not get too much. I always end up getting too much. And then you're scrambling to find, oh great, now what do I have to put the rest of this into? Oh well. You do your bestest and you see if you can't get less in next time. So again, not being at my proper table has its disadvantages, just saying. Usually I have a spoon that I can use. I'm just going to mix these up. So as I've mentioned before, I always thoroughly coat. If I'm working with glass beads or glass pieces or anything, I always coat them. Whether it's 2-part epoxy or whether it's UV, I always coat them. And the glass, I'll call them shards, the glass shard pieces or the sharp pieces, I really want to do those. I want them to have a coating on them, just so you as the user are protected, as is the person getting it. And sometimes I'll put a really thin layer of UV resin in my piece before I put in the glass shards, just so it's just an added protection. I don't want anyone getting cut. Okay, let's just sort of set that in place. And now this, we're going to have to move out of the way or it will cure. This stuff can, it's funny how quickly it can cure even not being in direct sunlight, but just being in light. Okay, so we'll put that off to the side. I'm going to cover it up with my white paper towels like that. And all I'm doing is really, I'm moving the pieces around so I have an even base on this. And I'll just take that and wipe it off. There shouldn't be really any air bubbles in this, but we'll go over it anyway. Okay. Put those off to the side. This is going to look pretty, if I do say so myself. Okay, so we'll put that back up on there. And I am going to cure that for 3 minutes as well. Okay, so yeah, these beads, as I say, they're from Michael's. Ashland is the brand or the company that makes these. And usually every season they come out with some very cool glass. And it's for vase fillers. It's a vase filler. But I've been buying it to use in my resin pieces that I make. And I've got quite an array of different glass colors. And I really need to start going. If you saw my house and even the glitter I have, I really need to start using. I love color, so when I see new colors, I tend to buy them. And I have a lot of them. So I'm starting now to sort of get into the practice of just start using it up. What are you keeping it for idea. But these are really pretty because of the coloring in them. And let's see, I'll just put a few in my hand. That might make it better to see. So you see, let's go down, over, down. But yeah, they're very pretty. And the nice thing about these ones are they're not sharp, they're rounded. They probably put them into some sort of tumbler when they were making these. So these aren't sharp, which I really like that about them. And I just like the fact that if you put this in a window or if you've got a light behind your piece, that it's going to shimmer through, which again is a really cool concept. But you don't have to put a light behind or put things in a window. It's all where you want to have things. Or if you have it sitting on a table and you've got light that comes in throughout the day from the sun. It's amazing how things just shine depending on what you've done to them. Okay, so hopefully we're getting down to the end of our 3 minutes, and I think it's really cool that you can cure from top and bottom. I think that's really cool, and I like having this shelving unit in here, and that you don't have to take it out, because I was thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to have to take that out every time I use it, and you don't have to. So that's really cool too. So it's doing top and bottom. The timing is on the top and the bottom, as is obviously the power button. It plugs into a wall outlet versus having to go into your computer, which I really like that. The boxing it came in, as I said, I expected it to be packaged sort of as this looks now, and nope, it was apart, which is cool. So the boxing's flatter, which is really cool. Yeah. So far I'm liking it. Again, I would, when I'm doing stuff on my own, not videotaping, I will probably put a cover over this one to keep all the light in it. As I say, I don't know if that makes any kind of difference in the world, but if it makes me feel better, then I do it. Okay. So there, we take it off. We take this off. We move this out of the way like that. Get that back under there so you can see it. And is this hard? That's nice and hard, people. So that's brilliant. So this is what we have so far. I am going to put this off camera, and I'm going to finish it up. I'm going to use UV resin in it. It's going to be a thick piece of UV resin, but that's okay. And I might even throw some of the glass pieces in amongst the other colors. Stay tuned. We'll be back once this is all done. Hey there, I'm back, and my piece is done. What I did was I got a little creative with this. So we're just going to move that out of the way. What I did is I got a little creative, and I was thinking of putting some of the glass holographic pieces in some of the yellow, blue, and pink, and I decided not to do that. What I did instead was, once I had enough of the color in, then I took some of the eye candy pigment Zerrin, and I brushed over the colors, and then I put a clear coat of UV resin on top of that, just because I thought, well, it might make it more interesting. One thing I have noticed is that the center of this bottom piece is really warm. Not that it's too warm to touch, but that you can touch it, but you can feel the heat coming off that. And I don't know whether that's because it's lower or because there's less UV resin than I had in there. I'm not 100% sure, but I just want to make note. And that, when I did the initial piece of that, I did it for 5 minutes. And then every subsequent layer I did for 3 minutes. So I don't know if that's got anything to do with it or not. However, what you might want to do is, if you find that it's warm, is let it cool down and then put it back in if you have any more UV resin you're putting in your piece, and carrying on from there. So I don't know why that is. I just may have had it in there for too long. We're done. I didn't want to take it out of the mold until I had you back in the room, as it were. So let's take this out. And what I might do is, when I've got this out, is just put it back on the tray and do the underside. As much as I know this is, the light's getting up through it, because I mean, this isn't clear. It's got a bit of opaqueness to it. But just to, finish doing the curing on the other side. Now, the other thing you can do, and I love doing this on bright and sunny days with UV resin, is I put things outside and I let the sun finish curing pieces for me. So the mold itself, having taken that out, I just want to place that down. I don't want to get my fingerprints all over it. I can't see any places where the resin did not cure, so it appears that it has cured completely. So that's brilliant. I'll have to clean this up to get the gold away from that. And as I say, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to place it. What was the bottom side is now the top side, and I'm just going to take that And I'm just going to place it in our curing machine, our lamp. Bring that back. And I'm just going to do that for 2 minutes. And probably what I'm going to do after that is, once this video is over, is I'm probably going to put this in the sun. Just because I know this, the sun to me is the ultimate UV cure. Ultimate. So, but I just wanted to put that in for 2 minutes, just to firmly cure the underside. Not that I don't think it is cured, because as I said, if it wasn't completely cured, there would be indications of that. And I've had pieces that I've done where it hasn't cured, whether that's because the UV that I put in has been too thick, whether it's just a brand that isn't as good as I say, J-Diction and Let's Resin by far for me are the best from a UV resin perspective. And I mean, I've tried a few different brands, but those are the two that I most widely use when I'm doing UV. And at some point, I'm really wanting to try out the J-Diction colored UV, but it hasn't come to Canada yet. And as far as buying the Let's Resin, this lamp, I found this on Amazon Canada. It came, I would say, within the last couple of weeks that it showed up being available on Amazon.ca. In case you're in Canada and you're curious about that, you should be able to find it now. And that's, I tend to look for things that are on the Amazon.ca, and if I have to wait for something to come through, then I wait. Or if I really want something, I can go to the Amazon.com, but I don't do that. I do that very infrequently. I have enough that I can play with here without having to go to Amazon.com. So that should be almost done. My 2 minutes should be almost up. And then we'll take it out. We'll move the lamp aside and we will place it down on our black piece of paper and see how she turned out. I'm thinking of just making this into a, I want to say a charm. That's not what I mean. That I can make it into something that I can hang from the rear view mirror in my car. Okay, so we're just going to take this top off. I've been just pulling the piece out, but we're going to take the top off. Put that down there. We're going to move that out of the way, and actually we'll just put it back together. Like simple. Okay, so here's our piece, completely finished. Okay, showing up on the black. We used everything Let's Resin except for the mica powder that I used in that. I have a little spot up here that I have to clean up with my X-Acto knife, but all in all, I think it was a great test of the Let's Resin lamp. Very pleased that I have it. I like the fact, I love the fact that I can put something in it and it's curing top and bottom, so I don't have to flip things over, which I think is brilliant. And potentially what you could do, not that it would matter. I was thinking you could flip it over, but that makes no sense. Anyway, there we have a simple little piece done using all UV resin, adding some of the glass Vase Filler by Ashland. And we'll have to see how this sparkles in the sun when I get around to doing that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you have found it helpful. Like, subscribe, comment below if you have any suggestions. You want to know anything, I'm up for answering the questions to the best of my ability. If I know, I'll tell you. If I don't know, I'll tell you that as well. Have a great day, whatever you get up to. Thanks for watching. Take care, and bye for now.